And if you need some cheering up this morning, what better man to do that for us all than the former England manager, Sam Allardyce, who joins us live now. Very good morning to you, Sam. First of all, let's get your thoughts in the tournament overall, reaching a final. In the end, was that a success to get that far, or failure that England perhaps didn't live up to their potential? Which was it?
Oh, it's a bonus getting to the final. I think that, you know, actually achieving another final, like from Wembley, which is where we'd got for the first time since '66, and repeating that on foreign soil as well. So you have to look at that from a history point of view. As disappointed as we are this morning, that we have to see that as an outstanding success. There's no Germany there, there's no France, no Portugal there that were all fancied in this tournament, of course, and we managed to reach the final against what was the best team in the competition in the end, and it was proven by the performance that they gave last night. Yeah,
Spain, undoubtedly, the results would show it. The eye would tell it as well that Spain were the better team. But actually, if you break it down player by player, did they have the better players, or was it that collection of players, the group, the team, that was simply better than England?
I think on the night, both. I think we struggled to produce the form we expected or have seen from England in the last World Cup and in the last Euros. But there was many different factors for that. There's injuries and new players coming into the squad who had little international experience. But I have to say, the young ones, you know, I think have gained a huge amount from that, like Palmer and Mainu and Gay and Gordon. You know, I thought they were, you know, some of the outstanding performances that we got, you know. But what we didn't see was the sort of performances that we used to see on a regular basis in the Premier League. And I think that is the difference between the changeover from league football into international football, and finding the right rhythm for a team where players only come together, you know, 5 or 6 or 7, 8 times a year to try and get that blend. They've certainly got the unity. That's obvious. You hear that from all the players and the manager. They've certainly got the bond, and they've certainly got the fact that they get on with each other, unlike previous international tournaments and previous England teams, which has been well documented. But at the end of the day, is it too nice? And that's what maybe one of the problems. Will they dig each other out? Will they get each other motivated on the pitch? And this is probably one of the things that you need to think about when you get at the international level or playing at that ultimate level, which is in a final. You can't always be nice. You've got to be ruthless, and maybe that might be missing a little bit from the England side.
Yeah, was that typified? There was a Carvajal challenge on Saka quite early on in that first half. You looked at the England team in days of yore, maybe an Ince or an Adams or one of those types of players would have just laid one on Carvajal a little later on and said, you know, don't mess with Saka or you're going to be in trouble. There was no player like that, was there?
No, not really. I mean, you know, I think that, you know, that's a part of the game that's talked about very little today, about how important it is in terms of defending your team and standing up for your team if somebody's trying to mess with you, you know what I mean? We all talk about the best teams. They can mix it any way you wanted to mix it. You know, maybe a little bit more devilment in the side might have helped a little bit more. But, I mean, in the end, overall, the performances weren't as fluid as we've seen in the past, and I think that was one of the worrying parts going into the final. We have to admire the fact and the resilience of the team to get there, because we were close to getting knocked out on a couple of occasions, but also came back with a vengeance, and of course that allowed us to get to the final.
Yeah, we're just watching the England team departing their Berlin hotel. England It is coming home, but not in the way perhaps England fans would have wanted, because the team are coming home just without the trophy. I wonder, Sam, looking at that bus leaving there, how many of these England players that Gareth Southgate has relied on in the past will be still part of that squad in 2 years' time, hopefully, if England qualify, to go to that World Cup in North America?
Well, when you think about how many players are missing from the last squad, it is quite remarkable. I mean, I know there's a few injuries there that would have been included, and obviously a few that were left out. So, you know, there's probably big changes in that squad at around, I don't know, 40% or more since the last final they played in. So it's ever evolving football, of course. And I personally think that England do exceptionally well for the talent pool that they've got, because it's so restricted in the Premier League because of our foreign imports. Then our young players get sometimes little or no chance to develop to the actual level. So I think our player pool is small, and I think we do remarkably well for the talent we've got and how much talent we've got when we're restricted so much on development of our own players in the Premier League. Now, I can't knock the Premier League because it's the best in the world. It creates the most revenue in the world. It's the biggest sporting, I think, industry in the world. So we're not going to change that, but we've got to try and do more in terms of developing more young players and introducing even better young players to the ones that we're developing now. And then we will have an opportunity to maybe win a final at some stage. But this has been a really good era over the 8 years. Don't forget, we cannot forget that this is the best we've done since '66. So, you know, many teams before that have looked like they're going to win it, and they haven't. This team looked like they were going to win it. Certainly, perhaps not in this Euros, but certainly in the last Euros, and we can't quite get over the line.
Why can't we get over the line?
Why can't we get over the line? In the end, quality of player in the right area. I think we had many goal scorers that scored lots and lots of goals at their clubs. You look at the goal scoring ability of Bellingham, Foden, Palmer, Kane, Watkins. You know, you look at all those, how many goals they scored at the club level, and how many chances and how many goals did they score in the Euros. And that was probably one thing that I looked at in terms of how many chances did we create. And I think that has to go down to the fact that we all know that we didn't break defences down as good or as quick enough to give those players more and more chances. So that's something that needs to be worked on. And certainly the system, fitting players into the right system that are comfortable in the position that they're going to play, and make sure they're comfortable. You're better off not, if they're not comfortable playing in that position, you are better off not playing them and playing somebody that is.
There we go, back to Alf Ramsey in '66 with that debate, don't we? Let's talk about Harry Kane. Yes, he scored 3, joint top, but was there a sense in you that this isn't the Harry Kane that England fans know and love?
Absolutely. I think that, you know, for Harry, I mean, is this his last international tournament? Who knows? You know, but he's obviously, he's had a huge impact on England. His goal scoring ability has never been in question, but his contribution to these Euros has been minimal compared to what we're used to. And is that the new move to Germany, shifting his family for the very first time, coming out of London where he's been familiar? Although he's done exceptionally well for Bayern Munich, you know, has that taken its toll on him? All the games he's had to play, a new move, a new family environment, and coming to international football, he didn't contribute, not just with the goals, but also with his hold-up play and his creative play. We didn't see that quite as much. But in saying that, it's the rest of the team he relies on for support and service, and that was lacking somewhat in the early stages particularly, and I think in the final yesterday. What you've got to get right, which is why Spain won it, was Spain defended as well as anybody in the Euros and attacked better than everybody. So the combination of the two was right. What England got right this tournament was they defended just as good as anybody else, but didn't get the creative side in the same balance, and ultimately which cost them the final in the end. Spain got both absolutely perfect, both from a defensive point of view and from an attacking point of view, whereas we lacked the attacking flair at times when we needed it. But defensively, I thought we were outstanding.
Yeah, if we draw parallels with '66, Jimmy Greaves was the nation's goal-scoring hero, wasn't he? He was injured. He was fit enough for the final, but South went with Jeff Hurst. The rest is history. If there was an injury with Kane and he wasn't fit enough to have the impact that you want, as a manager, would you have been tempted to have left him out of the starting lineup, or his name alone is enough to make sure that he is one of the starting 11?
I'd have left him there because if we were in the ascendancy, we would have not needed to rely on Harry outside the box as much as we needed to, and if we'd have provided chances in the box, he would have put them away. So that's probably why, while we're talking about it, it's probably been not a great tournament for him. But there is a time when the manager has to tell a player, whether it's at club level or at international level, that your time might be up, and that's one of the hardest jobs you have to face as a manager. I'm not sure whether Harry's or the manager's thinking that at this moment in time, but that would be down to Harry in a discussion with the manager. But it certainly looks like it might need that bit of a discussion, you know. But, you know, we haven't seen Grealish and we haven't seen, you know, Rashford, who not in this squad, who are a lot younger than Harry. So, you know, our time comes when we can't quite do what we used to do before. The hard thing is we never want to accept that. Somebody needs to tell us, and somebody needs to make the decision for us.
Is the same true for Gareth Southgate? Because what he's achieved with England has been hugely, hugely impressive. How difficult is it to manage England? And will that eventually, inevitably take its toll? Is that what he's weighing up as we speak? Would you like to see him stay on?
8 years is a huge amount of time with the pressures that you face at international level, and that's not just from me. That's from all the other older England managers I've spoke to over the years about, you know, how great it is to be in that position, but how stressful it is when you are in that position. It's like, you know, it's something that you love, but also something, you know, will take its toll. So I think, looking back, I think he's the third longest surfing manager in England. But we have to go back to Sir Alf Ramsey, who's managed the England team longer, and even farther back than that to Walter Winterbottom. So, you know, it has been a huge. What my problem is this: as I talked about the young pool of players being restricted, the young English managers are very, very restricted in this country. So if we are going to allow, or if Gareth wants to step down, who are we going to get? Surely not a foreigner. I couldn't stand having a foreign coach back in the England side again. But the small pool of English managers to choose from is getting smaller and smaller each year, and that is a huge concern for the England international team, because for me it has to be an Englishman.
Sam, wonderful to speak to you as always. Thank you very much for your time.
And you, thank you.